In the tapestry of time, Israel's birth in 1948 threads through the ancient loom of Old Testament prophecies, stitching together a narrative of restoration. From fertile fields to the looming reconstruction of the Third Temple, each endeavor is a brushstroke in the masterpiece of biblical promises. Red heifers prepare for ceremonies, and temple-related anticipation dances with meticulous biblical precision. Amid the echoes of Zechariah and Moses' oral traditions, discussions veer into the foretold role of the Antichrist in 2 Thessalonians. Yet, as the sun sets over a conflicted horizon, ongoing turmoil in Israel is portrayed as a script unfolding, fulfilling biblical prophecies with unprecedented distress. The establishment of Israel in 1948 has been viewed by many as a fulfillment of Old Testament prophecies regarding the restoration of the nation. The connection between Israel's agricultural success and biblical promises, particularly those found in Zechariah chapter 8, verse 12, adds another layer to the significance attributed to this historical event. Moreover, discussions about the reconstruction of the Third Temple, complete with preparations such as the breeding of red heifers for purification ceremonies, are framed within the context of meticulous attention to biblical requirements. This essay explores these aspects, delving into the anticipation of temple-related ceremonies and the role of the Antichrist as foretold in 2 Thessalonians. Additionally, the reenactment of the water ceremony for the Third Temple is examined in relation to Moses' oral tradition and biblical predictions, while ongoing conflicts in Israel are presented as fulfilling prophetic scriptures and contributing to unprecedented distress. The birth of Israel in 1948 is often looked at in light of Old Testament predictions about the nation's comeback. People who support this idea refer to parts of the Bible, like Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Ezekiel, that talk about the Jewish folks going back to their original homeland. The making of today's Israel is seen as making these really old predictions come true, showing a deep link between stories in the Bible and things that actually happened in history. It's like the pages of the Bible telling a story that continued into the real world when Israel was established. This connection is a big deal for many people because it feels like the unfolding of a plan laid out in ancient times finally happening right in front of our eyes. People see Israel's farming achievements as a way of making certain promises from the Bible come true, and Zechariah chapter 8, verse 12 is a key player in this belief. This verse talks about the land becoming really prosperous, with vineyards giving lots of fruit, the ground producing more, and the heavens giving dew. The good things happening in Israel's farming world are thought of as a real touchable proof of these promises coming alive. It makes folks believe even more strongly that there's a special connection between what's written in the Bible and the land flourishing in real life. So when you see fields full of crops and vineyards loaded with fruits in Israel, some people say it's like seeing the Bible's words turning into reality. It's not just about farming success. It's about believing that the promises in the Bible have a direct link to the good things happening in the land. This connection between what's written in ancient texts and the prosperity of Israel's soil is something that really strengthens the belief in a kind of divine plan unfolding through the success of their agriculture. Talking about rebuilding the Third Temple is a big deal for folks who want to connect what's happening now with what the Bible said would happen. People are getting ready for this by doing careful preparations, like finding and raising red heifers for special ceremonies to purify things. They pay close attention to all the rules written in the Bible about how this should be done. Why is rebuilding the temple such a significant idea? Well, it's seen as a way to bring back a strong connection between God and his people. It's like recreating the special bond that was there in the time of Solomon's Grand Temple. That old temple was a really important and meaningful place. So building it again is thought to bring back those powerful connections and make things feel even more special between God and the people. So when you hear about discussions on rebuilding the Third Temple, it's not just about constructing a building. It's about trying to revive a deep and meaningful relationship between God and the community. Thinking about the ceremonies linked to the temple goes hand in hand with considering what the Bible says about the Antichrist, especially in 2 Thessalonians. This part of the Bible talks about a person who will stand against and lift himself above everything that's considered God. It even mentions this figure sitting in the temple as if they were God. Connecting these prophecies with talks about rebuilding the Third Temple adds a kind of special dimension to the story, making people think about the end times and the events that the prophets predicted. So when folks discuss the ceremonies that might happen in the temple, it's not just about rituals. It's also about wondering if these actions could be linked to what the Bible warned about regarding the Antichrist. It's like adding an extra layer to the story, thinking about how all these things might fit together and what it could mean for the future. This mix of ceremonies, the temple, and these ancient prophecies makes people speculate about what's called the end times and how these prophetic events might unfold. Looking into the reenactment of the water ceremony for the Third Temple involves looking back at stories passed down by Moses through spoken words, known as oral tradition, and what the Bible says will happen. The water ceremony is like a special event representing purification and starting fresh. It links back to really old traditions and reminds people of stories in the Bible about water rituals done in places like the Tabernacle and Solomon's Temple. When believers reenact these ceremonies, it's like they're trying to connect what's happening now with the rich history written in the Bible. It's a way of making today's practices align with the ancient stories, making the link between contemporary times and the historical tales in the Bible even stronger. By doing this, people want to show that what they're doing today isn't just a new thing. It's a continuation of something really important from the past. So the reenactment of the water ceremony isn't just about going through the motions. It's about reinforcing the deep spiritual and historical meaning connected to the upcoming Third Temple, making it feel even more significant in the eyes of those who believe. Looking at the troubles happening in Israel today, some people say it's like the Bible's predictions are coming true, bringing a lot of distress to the area. Those who support this idea look at scriptures that talk about tough times, wars, and struggles in Israel, thinking of them as signs leading up to big prophetic events. It's like they're using the words written in the Bible to understand and explain what's going on in the real world. When these folks look at the world through the lens of these prophecies, they see the political and geographic situation in the Middle East as connected to what the Bible said would happen. They believe that by looking at the signs and events around them, they can confirm that the predictions in the Bible are happening right now. It's not just about seeing conflicts as random. It's about fitting them into a bigger story, a story told long ago, and feeling like these difficult times are part of something much more significant. So, for those who believe in these prophecies, the ongoing conflicts in Israel are more than just news. They are pieces of a larger puzzle, confirming what the Bible foresaw in the complex realities of the Middle East. As we navigate the pages of history, Israel's founding in 1948 emerges as a living tableau, a realization of ancient prophecies etched in the Old Testament. The bountiful harvests and agricultural triumphs echo the promises penned in Zechariah chapter 8, verse 12, intertwining the past with the present, delving into discussions about the Third Temple, with red heifers and meticulous preparations, unveils a dedication to biblical requirements, bridging modernity with millennial traditions. The specter of the Antichrist prophecy role, spotlighted in 2 Thessalonians, adds an eschatological layer to these considerations. From the rhythmic reenactment of water ceremonies in line with Moses' oral traditions to the tumultuous backdrop of ongoing conflicts, the narrative unfolds as a vivid tapestry, weaving contemporary events into the rich fabric of biblical foresight, creating echoes of unprecedented distress.